First off, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting the channel. Love the conversations I've had so far. Having conversations and sparking debates is one of this channel's biggest motivations for its creation, and I'm so glad that it's starting to do so now. If you guys want to have a good place to have good discussions, a Discord link is in the description below. Now, let's start this video up, everyone. After thinking more about Ahsoka, one of the better Disney Star Wars shows, I know there are arguments for and against the show right now, but it's still better than what Disney has been pumping out recently. And yes, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Book of Boba Fett. I'm looking at you too, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes, you. And yes, even Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Specifically, I wanted to talk about the Book of Boba Fett as I consider it the worst of the live-action series Disney made so far. I'm a big believer in respecting characters, as you guys see, and this show here, just didn't do it for me. Like, to me, it felt like a disrespect to the character. I think what they did to Boba was just a tragedy. Trying to wring more out of a character who's past his story, past his prime, is just sad to see. I'm a believer that if a character's story has ended, a fitting, meaningful, or poetic death would suffice, or use them to build the world up with something that contributes to the world. They can do this by just really using them to create a platform to introduce new characters and so on and so forth. Like, it's honestly really easy to do. Just have these characters just be the foundation for something that they created, something that is beneficial, or like something that's grand, that's something that adds to the whole universe, and just is a platform for other characters to shine, to be born from, something like that, you know, something of that nature. Now, it's one thing to make a show boring, but to make a character who's written to his core to be a badass boring is honestly just, oh my god, just shit to see. Honestly, the whole 100% honor thing with respect and care would have worked for a series' original character, right? But not Boba Fett. Small moments here and there where Boba would be honorable would be fine, but honestly, it's not like Red Dead Redemption, and I'm trying to be 100% honor, like, you know, having the whole 100% honor bar filled in the justice right direction. I'm not trying to do that. You know, Boba Fett is normally in the middle, but sort of maybe towards the real honorable side, but it's still Boba Fett. He still would go ahead and just, you know, be about the money. It's always about, you know, the money, going ahead and taking care of yourself. And here, you know, being put in a position where he had to take care of others in his organization, he could go ahead and, you know, essentially do the same thing, but treat the whole organization as himself. Now, let's just look at Boba Fett, right? This man is what? In his 30s or 40s, canonically in the series, and he has a drastic change in mindset and attitude towards society and how the world should work. I call bullshit. I call crap, right? Sure, this sort of thing may happen, but trying to write him like he doesn't understand the underworld or ignore his previous knowledge and expect his status that has no backing to be enough to warrant respect from people who would sell their own mother for 5 credits is ridiculous. I've also seen how some people call the Book of Boba Fett Mando 2.5, as a portion of the series focuses on Mando and Grogu, and honestly, I'd say that is fair. It's one thing to have Mando cameo in the show, but also give him a plot line that fits into his own show better in another show. It's just weird. It just shows that they didn't have confidence in the Book of Boba Fett from the beginning, and it's just, like I said, it's just sad to see. So now let's focus on the story. Essentially, Boba Fett just takes Jabba's throne. Like, he just sits on the throne. He's like, this is mine now. This is mine, and nobody can take it because it's mine. And he has no backing. It's kind of stupid, kind of. He really doesn't have anything to really solidify his power besides just moving into Jabba's hut. No, not Jabba's hut. You know, Jabba the Hutt's place. So it's just, you know, what are you doing here, bro? Instead of taking power for himself, taking over organizations on Tatooine, he just tells them to, I guess, respect his authority, like Cartman, I guess, and only fights back when, surprise, surprise, these bastards don't listen to him and try to kill him. Like, are you serious here? This man is dealing with the scum of the earth, criminal organizations, people he has worked with and seen how they work all his life. Now he expects them to just honor and respect things when they have no semblance of it at all. It's, like I said before, it's honestly ridiculous and stupid to really expect that and just change Boba's whole mindset to, hey, I was captive by these sand people and they taught me about honor and nobility, and I want the whole entire world and everything to abide by this, and just, I guess, like, is delusional enough to kind of like think that his respect, that the respect he went ahead and had in the bounty hunter world would warrant all this change. But no, that's not how the world works. It's the writing is just dumb. It's stupid. It just honestly makes no sense. When the spice traders came to move in, they hired Cad Bane, an amazing character, to take care of Boba and Mando, who just, I'm pretty sure he showed up like halfway through the series with Boba, but I think he shows up in season 2, 3 when he goes ahead and sees the armor, right? So throughout the show, you know, we see Mando a good bit, right? As much as we see Boba, right? And Cad Bane is here to essentially clear the way. Well, it was short-lived because Bane was killed, and the spice traders are sent packing. This solidifies his power and his position, and he gets the respect from everyone. And, you know, he can do business properly now after, you know, riding a big old monster into battle, and, you know, I guess scaring everybody into basically like submitting to him, which is kind of goes against his his whole little thing about, you know, honor and respect, because, you know, they more so they fear him now because he has this big ass monster that he can actively ride on, right? So it's kind of meh, right? It's meh. And honestly, guys, I just think the writers didn't have much vision for this series. That, or they just truly didn't know how to make a series with a character fit for so much violence, such extreme violence in a Disney Star Wars universe. Like, guys, imagine if in the MCU they try to fit Punisher in, but they cut down all his violent acts and you know, just cut it down to near non-existence, right? And they try to have him appeal to the criminals' humanity to stop what they're doing and go back to their families and get real jobs, blah blah blah. And then he finally like kills them back when, surprise surprise, they don't do what he says, because who the fuck would? Are you crazy? That's just entirely stupid. Honestly, I expected Boba Fett to fight every organization trying to swallow up his claim of territory, right? While also dealing with assassination attempts and assassinating key targets himself. It would essentially play out as a mini-war between organizations. Boba could even call in favors from other bounty hunters and pay them to help him consolidate his power with precision and brutality to show that he isn't fucking around here. But as we clearly saw, that didn't happen. And he hired some teenage moped, you know, driving kids to help him out, which is pretty lame. It's pretty lame. We get a Boba Fett that is trying to be noble and wants everyone to display respect and courtesy in the world, where that's non-existent in the criminal world of Star Wars. It's just, again, it's mind-boggling, because who the right mind would go ahead and do this? It's like going ahead and putting a writer who's in charge of, like, you know, basic, you know, Boy Scout Superman, and trying to go ahead and get him to write something that that is involved with, like, you know, the Punisher, and tell him, you now write something cool with this character, and then his idea is just, you know, for the Punisher to, I don't know, instead of using guns, he starts using his words, some crap, right? It just makes no sense. But, you know, a writer like that could have ideas, you know. It's just weird. Honestly, it's just weird. But I just think it's just the writers just didn't know what the fuck they were doing with the series. They just didn't have no faith in it. Here are some ideas on how Boba Fett should have been. If you have your own ideas to express, then, you know, express them in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's have a whole discussion. My first idea would essentially be what I explained just now. How Boba Fett consolidates his power would be by tearing apart neighboring territories of groups who do not recognize him as the higher power in the area. He would assassinate, mow down, and even destroy whatever or whoever is in his way to show that he isn't fucking around and that he is in control. This, with Fennec being his eyes and ears in his own territory, would make his worries go away, and would kind of like give him a sort of, like, you know, near like Terminator sort of feeling, where he's damn near unstoppable. Honestly, they could have just angled it to where he would just essentially be, what, space John Wick in a way. He's just entirely just unstoppable when he puts his mind to it. It would be cool. It could have been cool. Well, Boba Fett going ahead and basically destroying any organization that doesn't recognize his power would culminate with a branch of the Spice Trade organization to issue a request to help deal with Boba Fett to their main force, which would prove, competent enough that, they would drive Boba back to focus on his forces, as, the Spice Trade, which is basically just the drug trade, I would say, because spice is, I don't know, I don't know what exactly the Spice Trade is, or the spice, but I know it's drugs. We all know it's drugs, and essentially they would go ahead and send so many forces to help bolster up their defenses that it would prove too much for Boba to really fight back, or essentially it would cause too many problems at home base, and that he needs to return. With Boba back in his territory, he would need to take things a little bit more seriously and hire a little bit more help. And I think here they could still even bring Mando in, and Boba would hire Mando, even Mando, or just some of the tribe that would come in to help a pseudo Mandalorian, as they might not recognize Boba Fett as a Mandalorian. But money's money, and a job is a job, so it could work. With Mando's help, and potentially with other bounty hunters, defending his territory would, cause the traitors to, come into a final battle, and, the results may vary, but it could be similar to the show, or, things could end up differently. But, everything would have to play out where the traitors get defeated, and, Boba Fett, consolidates his power, and, he goes back to, being on the offensive, essentially. And, taking up as much power as he can before stopping and saying, you know what, this is fine for right now. I can have these other bounty hunters be my foot soldiers and, go off and do what I need them to do. So that's my first idea. My second idea would be how, instead of the spice traders being the main antagonists, Boba Fett would have to fight the other Hutts for Jabba's territory. This could be, just something simple enough as they would place a huge bounty on his head, which would leave Boba Fett and Fennec on the run from the territory, as everyone is trying to claim this bounty, and they need to try to find a way to terminate the contract. This could be done by killing the person who started the contract, or becoming so untouchable or feared that no one would ever try to claim it. Honestly, I like the angle where Boba Fett is so feared and so badass that no one would even try to claim it. But, I mean, it's Boba Fett, for fuck's sake. A bounty hunter respected by everyone in his field. Who would try to hunt him? Maybe fools, or bounty hunters on his level would try. Honestly, it would be incredibly cool if his ultimate challenge would be Dirge, a Gendai who can regenerate and has a super suit, a power suit, making him incredibly hard to deal with. This will make it hard for Boba to really get a good footing anywhere, as this Terminator-like bounty hunter is on his ass 24/7 and would try to kill him. So it would be really hard for Boba Fett to really fight back, so it would cause him to really go back and think of a plan. So he needs to kill the Hutt who placed the bounty on him, or the Hutts, or multiple, could go ahead and pitch in to put in a crazy amount for his bounty. This idea is more of a simple one, as Boba Fett, all he really needs to do is dodge Dirge enough and try and manipulate things in a way to where he can get in a position to take down the Hutts, or the individuals who has put the bounty on him to make it so high that even Dirge has to come out and go ahead and try and claim it. So it could be interesting with this idea, honestly. My third and last idea would have to do with Boba Fett taking up the mantle of leader of the Mandalorian Protectors and sort of bringing it back, as Fen Rao would meet Boba Fett coincidentally while Boba was consolidating his power on Tatooine. In Ahsoka, they were playing with some legend stuff with abeloth, so I thought this was cool. So I wanted to go ahead and bring some aspects of legends into this whole idea to help, give an idea of what we can do here, right? So we all understand that in the book of Boba Fett that they try to change up his character a little bit, be more honorable and noble, because of all the stuff he's been through and learned and stuff like that, which is cool. But that's not Boba Fett, right? So I think this whole idea that they try to do would fit Fen Rao most. If you don't know who Fen Rao is, he used to be the leader of the Mandalorian Protectors on the same planet that Jango is from, right? Concord Dawn. So what I want to propose is that since Jango was once a leader of the Protectors and the one who killed a majority of Death Watch, why not have it to where Rao would want to honor and restore the Protectors with Boba Fett, his son? So, What would Boba do with his position? A position that gives him conflicted feelings, as it would make him think about Jango, and the complicated feelings there, right? Maybe an angle where he wants to know more about Jango's time as leader of the Protectors and remake it in honor of his father. Boba would come to understand that the Protectors were a police force, strong and noble, and he would see the value in recreating this group with Rao, a group that protected Mandalorians. Now, where would they get the manpower to do so? It would be pretty dope if they enlisted clones scattered around the whole galaxy to join up and accept them as Mandalorians. Clones and any other Mandalorians who are still out and about would want to join the newly established Protectors. I think that would be incredibly badass. I mean, come on, we got Morrison here and he's not getting any younger, right? Basically, every clone is right there. He's him. He's every clone, right? So it would be cool. It would be really interesting to see. Protecting Tatooine and making it safer, while also establishing a hub for Mandalorians and clones to be safe, would cause an uproar among the other organizations around, which would be understandable if, you know, a warlord goes ahead and creates a hub for clones and Mandalorians and is actively employing them to do jobs and stuff like that. It would be it would be like an immense alarm for them, right? An organized force like the Protectors going ahead and making Tatooine their home and enforcing one warlord's rule would cause a lot of concern for the underworld, and you know, they can't get their money. They're getting cut off because this warlord is, you know, doing something immensely, you know, I keep saying immensely, right? This warlord Boba Fett is doing some crazy ass shit, establishing this hub and, you know, going ahead and employing these Mandalorians who have for the most part are loyal to Boba Fett. It would be cool to see like an all-out war brewing between the reborn Protectors and the underworld organizations who would poke and prod their way into trying to gain back Hutt's, like, you know, the territory that they've been losing to the Protectors. And, you know, I think that would be incredibly cool to see, sort of like the politics, sort of like the fighting. It would be interesting to see Mando be a bridge also to sort of like, you know, give his tribe some work, or it would be also like really badass, really cool if other Mandos or clones could join the tribe through this, is because of this hub of, you know, clones and Mandos being put together, and, you know, them talking, you know, their culture, you know, basically being able to thrive in a location that's not Mandalore. So that would be cool. Honestly, that would be incredibly amazing to see, and kind of give the world of Star Wars, you know, a little bit more to work with. Seeing Boba Fett retire by creating a whole hub for clones and Mandalorians would be amazing. It would be an amazing way to springboard other original characters into the world of Star Wars and show us, you know, their adventures like how they did with Mando. It would be cool, like original characters being springboarded because of other pre-existing characters' achievements and, you know, their own, you know, what they've built. It's cool. It's nice. It's what needs to be done more, I think, with Star Wars, that, you know, these already established characters would go ahead and sort of create something that would springboard other characters, other original characters into our TVs to basically be favorite characters along the way, right? It would be nice to see. Honestly, I didn't really plan out an ending, so I want to leave this whole thing to be sort of open-ended, because there's so many angles we can do with this. Like, it's such an interesting idea. It may need some tweaks and, you know, like some things that need to be worked with, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty badass idea. It's my favorite idea out of the three. So, yeah, essentially that's just my favorite idea, is to create a hub for clones and Mandalorians and give a place for everybody here. So that's honestly really it. Honestly, Boba Fett has so much potential, but I feel like he can't really reach it because, you know, Disney's at the wheel, and that's just unfortunate, honestly, for a character like him. This has been Cinderman. I think you may have noticed that I'm a little bit sick, you know. I'm a little bit sick, and some of these things are either me, you know, laughing in a dry way, or, you know, just actually kind of like holding back a cough. You know, this whole recording session has been kind of it's kind of been hell, but I'm still trying to go ahead and make a few videos this week. Hopefully, let's see, I really want to go ahead and bring out a Starfield video sort of to this week, and, you know, something else along the week, right? I'm still planning things, right? So these are really my thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett. If you enjoyed the video, hit a like, comment about it, and, you know, subscribe. I think this whole channel has been something I've been wanting to do for a while, and you know, seeing all the discussions and talking about different things, especially in the Castlevania video, it's really nice. It's nice to have discussions about everything. So if you guys want to talk about more about, you know, Boba Fett, I'm down in the comments. Just let me know. Just comment and, you know, do whatever, right? Support the channel. It will be cool. So yeah, be safe, stay healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically, and see you guys later.